boys and girls. How are you doing today? Welcome and thank you for joining me and Read with Mr. A today. As always, I got a great book on deck right here. But before I share the title, if this is your first time here, if this is your 324th time here, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you know every time that we have a story that will be read. And we got some other great content, so just make sure you're notified, okay? Deal. Thank you in advance. The title of the book that we'll be reading today is called Stone Soup. Can you say that with me? Let's do it one more time. Stone Soup. This is what they call a classic, okay? Because there are many versions of Stone Soup, but we're going to be reading this one today. So are you ready? Oh, so am I. Let's go. Stone Soup. Okie dokie. Man, you see all these words here? Okay, Mr. A gotta get his read on. Let me put my magic glasses on. Alrighty. A hungry traveler had been roaming the countryside for a long time, and he had not eaten a good meal in quite a while. One day, the traveler spotted a lovely village off in the distance. The hungry traveler became very excited and said to himself, I'm bound to find someone in the village who will share a meal with me. As the traveler hurried to the town, he tripped over a stone in the road. The stone was not like any that the traveler had seen before. It was perfectly smooth and oval in shape. The traveler looked at the stone carefully and decided he would keep it. You never know when a stone like this might come in handy, he said. Then the traveler happily headed to the village. His empty stomach grumbled as he walked. When the traveler arrived in the village, things did not go as well as he had hoped. He stopped at a few houses, but no one had food to share. One house the traveler came to was very quiet. All the doors and windows were closed, and the shades were drawn. The traveler began to think that no one was home. Finally, a maid appeared in the doorway. Can you spare some food? The traveler asked her. I have been traveling for days and I am very hungry. I'm sorry, but I only have a few potatoes, the maid said. That's not enough to spare or share. Why don't you try my neighbor next door? I already have, said the traveler. But he was very grumpy and just slammed the door in my face. It looks like finding some food in this village will be more difficult than I thought. Still, the hungry traveler refused to give up. The traveler visited every house in the village, but no one had enough food to spare or share. At one house, there was only cabbage. The next had only cabbage. I'm sorry. At one house, there was only cabbage. The next had only carrots. And a third had only salt and pepper. Since there was no food for the hungry traveler, he decided to move on. But he got very far. Before he got very far, the traveler began to feel tired. He decided to get some rest in the cool shade of a tree just outside the village. As he sat under the tree, the traveler looked back at the quiet little town. It's a shame, he thought. Such a nice village and such a beautiful day, but nobody is outdoors visiting. Then the traveler reached into his bag and took out the smooth oval stone that he found earlier in the day. As he sat admiring the stone, the traveler suddenly had a brilliant idea. The traveler ran back to the village and shouted, "Come out of your houses, everybody! I have a magic stone, and it will give us enough food for a wonderful meal. Everyone in town will have plenty to eat, and there will be enough to spare and share." One by one, the curious villagers peeked out of their doors and windows. The grumpy villager who slammed the door on the traveler earlier looked out of his window and shouted, "What's all the racket about?" "Come help me make a pot of delicious stone soup," said the traveler. The maid stepped out of her house as two excited children ran up to the traveler. "Is that your stomach I hear growling?" one child asked. "Yes," the other replied. "I am very hungry." "Does anybody have a large soup kettle to get us started?" the traveler asked. "I've got one that you can use," said the big grumpy villager, "but I don't think it will do any good. I don't think your magic stone will really work." "I guess we'll find out soon enough," said one lady. "I certainly hope he can make a soup out of a stone. I haven't had good soup in a long time." The grumpy villager brought out his large kettle and placed it on a pile of sticks for the fire. "Here you go," he said. "Now, let's see if that magic stone of yours can really make enough soup for all of us." "Don't worry," said the traveler. "There will be plenty." The traveler placed the smooth oval stone into the kettle of water and began to stir. After a while, he tasted the soup. "Not bad," the traveler said, "but I think it could use some salt and pepper and perhaps a potato." "I've got salt and pepper," said one of the young ladies. "I'll run home and get it." The maid added her potatoes, and once again, the traveler stirred the soup. When he tasted it again, all the villagers watched him with anticipation. "This is very good, but it would taste even better with some carrots and cabbage," said the traveler. Then a young boy ran home to get some carrots, and a little girl ran home to get her cabbage. It's coming together. It's coming together. Hello. By now, everyone was having so much fun. Even the big grumpy villager who was no longer grumpy. "Let's make this meal a party," he shouted. Finally, the traveler announced that the stone soup was ready. He filled all the bowls and the villagers began to eat. Afterward, there was plenty of soup left over. "There's enough to spare and share," said the young lady. The villagers were so happy after dinner that they did not want the evening to end. They started playing music together and dancing with one another. At last, the village was alive with chatter and laughter. "I didn't know you could play the banjo," the maid said to the big villager. "And I didn't know you could play the washboard," he responded. "I think there was a lot we didn't know until the traveler came along," said the maid. The next morning, the traveler said goodbye to his new friends in the village. It was time for him to leave and travel somewhere new. "I want you to have this," the traveler said as he handed the smooth oval stone to the villagers. "Now you will always be able to make stone soup together, and you will never be hungry or sad or grumpy again." Each of the villagers hugged the traveler. "Come back and visit us again," said the maid. You are always welcome, said the big villager. They were all very grateful and they hoped to see the kind traveler again. As the traveler headed out of the little village, he stumbled over another stone in the road. He picked it up at once and admired its jagged edges. The traveler looked at the stone carefully and finally decided to keep it. You never know when a stone like this might come in handy, he said to himself as he placed it in his bag. The end. Great story, huh? I believe so. A lot of lessons learned in this story, huh? I believe so. When it started out, this hungry traveler, he was hungry, and he saw a beautiful village, and he was like, man, it looks so beautiful, but it doesn't look like anybody is out, and nobody really was. And what he was able to do was bring the village together with what? A stone that he was able to create a meal out of, stone soup. And the villagers that weren't on board right away, eventually, because he didn't give up, because that traveler did not give up, he got everybody involved in the community, and it turned out to be a wonderful event. I mean, people were talking with one another, people were eating with one another, people were laughing and dancing with one another. And that traveler created that with a stone. So just imagine what you can create, boys and girls, with anything. It doesn't have to be a stone. It doesn't have to be an object. It can be you. There's a message at the back of the book and the front. It says cooperation. Can I read this for you? I can. Well, here we go. So, cooperation means working with others to get things done. The hungry traveler used the stone to show villagers how to cooperate. When the traveler came to the town, the villagers had a little bit of food, but not enough for an entire meal. The traveler helped the villagers work together to make a delicious soup. When they cooperated, the villagers found they had plenty of food for everyone. Message: cooperation can make difficult things easy, and it also can be lots of fun. The villagers learned that it is easy to make friends when you cooperate. If you agree with that, raise your hand. I agree with that. I most certainly agree with that. And we want to thank the author for putting the words in this book, for allowing us here at Fathers Read 365 to share them with you all. Man, that was a great story. Thanks. So if you liked it, make sure you hit the like button. And again, if you just getting here, if this is your first time here, however many times you've been here, if you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button. Get all the notifications for more stories similar to this one. Not just like this one. We got all different types of stories. Go check out the other stories. No, I'm not going to stop there. We got animations on here. Go check out our animated books from the Dream Teamster series. Go ahead. Don't hesitate. All righty. Well, boys and girls, there was something that they were talking about, okay? And over here, I got the affirmations. And it says, always find reasons to laugh. And it seems in Stone Soup, they found a reason to laugh and have a lot of fun. So, hey, until our next adventure, boys and girls, Mr. A is going to be signing off here. And I'm representing all the Fathers Read 365. And we just, we want you to stay good, stay positive, and treat people well. Again, I'm Mr. Ray, and we'll see you soon, okay? All righty. Bye now.